Good morning. Good morning. We're going to be getting started in 1 minute. And then we're recording this session, which makes it easy to go back and watch. Um, so let me get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Amos Tarfa. I believe I know most of you on the call so far. Thank you for joining me. I'm just going to adjust my video. Sorry. Um, yeah, thank you for joining me on the call today. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about AI fluency. One of the most important skills that anybody can learn right now is AI fluency. And so we're going to be discussing AI fluency. But before we get started, do you mind just sharing in the chat? You could share with me directly just a little bit about sort of what AI tools do you use on a regular basis? What tools do you use? What tools would you like to learn? So say, what tools do I use? What tools do I want to learn? Can you just put it in the chat? You can send it to just me if you want, or you can put it to everyone as well. So we're going to get started here in a second. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'll dive into today's topic. We're going to be going for about 20 minutes where I just share some things for AI fluency, and then I'll have time for questions and answers and some interaction. Um, if possible, we're going to have, if you want to speak, just let me know. We can add you into the allow you to speak session of the webinar. But if you just want to listen into, that's completely fine. So tell me a little bit about your AI stack, and let me explain what is an AI stack. An AI stack is a series of AI tools that you use to accomplish a preset defined set of goals. So, for example, your AI stack could be I use Gemini for this and I use Google LM for this. What is your stack? What does that look like? And then I want to tell you what I believe some of the best stacks in the world are. And that's probably because I do listen to a lot of podcasts and just listen to read different newsletters. And I'm seeing what the CEOs are using. I'm seeing what global leaders are using on AI. I'm seeing what a lot of the leading labs are doing. And I would like to share that with you. Today, I call this an opportunity for continuing education because no matter how good you are with AI, you can become like outdated in 1 week, right? That's how fast AI moves. So if you don't have an AI plan, an AI strategy, you will be left behind. And you want to make sure that you understand how these things work and how you can improve upon your skill set. So go ahead and let us know what is in your AI stack, and we'll get started in probably 1 minute officially. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is I want to share with you the biggest issue right now that I'm noticing with AI. So during these AI workshops, I'll bring you up to speed, let you know what models are doing very well, what models to probably avoid or not use as much because they're not the best, right? You want to try and use the best models. And so right away, I'm going to tell you, let me just cut to the chase. The best model today for almost anything related to enterprise, for anything related to doing serious business work, is Claude, Anthropic Claude. If you don't have Claude, it's like you don't have a computer. I'm just being honest. You need to learn Claude because Claude has not only the ability to act as an LLM, which honestly, the era of LLMs is no longer the priority. If you didn't know this, the best use of AI right now is not to write stuff alone. That's the least. That's not what you need AI for the most part. What you need AI for is to do things for you. You can use AI now to build websites. You can use AI now to write code. These are uses of AI that are much more valuable. And I think people are not realizing that the AI world is changing right now. I was talking to some people at MIT last week, and even professors there found it very interesting as we started talking about LLMs and so on, and they realized, yeah, that makes sense. We have a change, a massive change that is going on. So let me share my screen and show you what I've been working on with Manus AI. But I would encourage you to please get Replit, Manus AI, well, get Replit at least, and Claude. But let me know if you can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen okay? So I'm going to move this down. Okay, everybody see the Learning for Excellence AI Continuing Education? This was made by Manus AI from a prompt that I gave it yesterday. And what was the goal of this prompt? You see, I meet people every day. By the way, this is a full landing page website with PDFs that can be downloaded, everything, right? Just from one or a couple of prompts. So why did I do this? Let me just explain. One of the things going on with AI right now is that it is moving so fast that some people are not sure what to do and some people are dizzy, right? That's the word that my friend used. He said it's a little dizzying. Now, what does it mean to be dizzy? It means that one week you think you're the best or you understand AI, and then the next week you find out that you're outdated in your knowledge of AI. So how do we keep up with AI? Well, I'm gonna borrow a lesson from the medical field, as well as this is actually common in the physics field and the physics community as well. And this is the idea of continuing education. Everybody needs an AI continuing education strategy. What does this mean? That means that every week you need to ask yourself, what happened in AI this week that I need to be aware of and that is relevant to my goals, right? What is your AI continuing education strategy? What are you doing? What am I doing to improve my AI skills every week? Guys, I'm going to give you a practical example of this. Earlier this week, and one of my teammates talked to me about this, and we got into talking about, privacy, data security, and so on. But if you are able to build your AI systems well, you can literally, you can tell your AI system. Let me give you an example of a prompt with AI. Create a Google folder, and in the folder include a business plan for me to work in 5 countries, and I list what those 5 countries are. Create a business plan, research the different laws for registering a business in those 5 countries, create products that I can sell in those countries, create the website for those countries that I'm going to deploy, drop it in my inbox at 10 o'clock today. Guys, what I just described is easy now. Everything I just described, easy. Execution or the road to launching websites, building apps, building folders, and having the folders emailed to you is like you're talking to a secretary, and the AI is doing all that stuff. So the question is no longer execution. The question is, what is the idea you need to execute? So that leads me to number 2. You need an AI continuing education strategy, improving your AI skills. Like, I talk to people sometimes and they haven't heard of agentic AI. Like, if you don't know agentic AI, you are actually like, it's like you have a typewriter in an age of computers. So that means that if you're not keeping up with a continuing education strategy, you're missing out big time. So how do we help everyone have a continuing education strategy? We're going to offer these webinars every month. Every month, we're going to have an opportunity to bring you up to speed. We're going to try and bring AI scientists to these meetings. We're going to try and bring people that are building AI to these meetings, right? We're going to try and get MIT professors to these meetings, and on and on. My point is, let us be at the front row seat learning from some of these people. And so, number 1, we need an AI continuing education strategy. Number 2, we need a business strategy. So, guys, think about it. If everybody can deploy websites easily, what makes you and I different? What makes us different? We have to have a strategy. So what is the strategy I recommend? It's called the Blue Ocean Strategy. Blue Ocean Strategy. By the way, when you design these websites with Manus now, and I didn't do this for this one, but I'll do it. I could do it after the call. You can remove these badges. It actually goes away. And you can update the name by hosting your website on a certain, like Manus can now host the website, Replit can now host the website. So this website, which will just be called aicontinueducation.com or something like that, that's going to be the live website. We can update the website, no problem. We already have a website called aifluency.life. You can also see that website if you want to continue following our work. So we are going to keep providing the general public with world-class AI training and AI resources, right? So we have aifluency.life. This is our other website. Notice that the name says aifluency.life, right? We have the domain, and this is just showing you an example of another website. I created something called the AI Readiness Index, and it basically helps us know how good or how ready is that person when it comes to AI. You can take an assessment that shows you your level of AI understanding. Okay, let's go back to the original tab. Sorry. So we have an AI continuing education strategy. Let's go down and look. What is the most important skill that many jobs are looking for right now? AI fluency. If you're applying for a job right now and you're not AI fluent, I'm sorry, you probably won't get the job if someone who's AI fluent applied for the same job. At our company, the Learning Institute for Excellence, we're making it so that everybody is AI fluent. This is part of why we're doing these trainings. We want everyone to be AI fluent so they can use AI to amplify their output. So let's go look at some of the tiers. On this meeting right now, right? I don't know everybody's story, but let's just talk about the three levels of AI, like a three-tier professional AI use case framework. The first level of AI is knowing about interactive brainstorming, right? Some people use LLMs as a structured sparring partner to generate creative analogs or analogies or course titles or marketing angles, right? So that's number one. People are using AI for that, right? And you can play with this website once I deploy it in the next couple of hours here. Number two, some people use AI to do content condensation. You summarize long articles and transcripts and PDFs into action items. Claude is very good for this. Gemini is very good for this. Google LM is very good for this. It is important that you know how to use each of these tools that I mentioned because they all serve a different purpose. Claude serves a purpose of, designing PowerPoint slides, creating brochures, creating, pitch decks. Gemini is very good for just LLM purposes. And then Google LM is very good at creating something called a RAG. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. That is something we'll discuss more as we go on. So the primary entry point where AI acts as a collaborative partner for creative brainstorming and so on, this is tier one. A lot of people stay in tier one when it comes to AI. That's not good. They need to work their way into more advanced tiers. But we need to use these interactive tools for accelerated learning. We're going to create, progress trackers and different things to help people learn how to use AI, right? So these are things that I'm creating and building into practicing with AI tools, right? Again, I'll give you this website. You can play with it and see what this is all about. Now, before we go on to the next tier, I want to say a couple of things about AI that people don't know. If I was to ask you on the call right now, who are the pioneers of AI? Is everybody going to be able to say, I know exactly what names I need to know? Well, you need to know this name, Alan Turing. You need to know this name, Claude Shannon. You need to know this name, John McCarthy. And you need to know about the year 1956. If you want to fully understand how these AI systems work and why they exist, you probably need to know some of this information, right? You can know Warren McCulloch as well. You can know all these key figures, but you must know Alan Turing. Why? Because he's one of the reasons that AI is a thing. He asked the question, can machines think? And that's part of what he was trying to work on. He's one of the people that helped with a problem called the Enigma machine, or they call it the imitation game. That's a movie about him. But the idea of Alan Turing's life is we're trying to figure out what mathematics can do and computation, right? With the right tools, can it design machines that think, quote unquote? I say it's quote unquote because there are many people who will tell you today these machines are not thinking, they're just very good at pattern recognition. So you need to know John McCarthy and the Dartmouth workshop that happened in 1956 that gave rise to a lot of what we talk about today as AI as a distinct field. Now, AI is one of the first fields that forces questions about philosophy, right? And Dr. John Lennox was just interviewed this week. You can look it up, Diary of a CEO and John Lennox, and you can learn more about his work there as well. So again, I'm laying the groundwork before we dive deeper into more practical skills. We have papers that we're going to be putting out. Why everyone needs an AI education strategy. Learning how to learn fast. The science of meta learning. That is probably the most important skill you can learn in the AI revolution. So I want to encourage everyone to make sure that they pay attention to the different levels and skills in AI, but also start looking at some of these papers that we're publishing. Learning how to learn fast. Why is that important? Because AI tools keep coming every week. And if you have a strategy for learning how to learn, you're going to adapt and you're going to lead, which is the goal of this website and this project. So let's talk about the second level. So first, you need to know how to use AI to ideate. Second, you need to learn how to use AI to synthesize and analyze. We have to move past simple text generation to complex synthesis, structured data extraction, and precise prompt engineering. At this tier, users understand that AI's power lies in its ability to process complex semantic relationships and analyze patterns. So, can you synthesize academic literature, historical context? Can we do some of that research? Can we structure unstructured data? And can we structure prompt frameworks? These are the second level we need to get comfortable with. And the third level of AI is, do you know how to use AI to do multiple things like research agent, giving it to a writing agent, giving it to a critique agent, giving it to a formatting agent, giving it to a website design agent, giving it to a PowerPoint slide deck agent? Do you know how to build agents to do things? That's the third level we're going to talk about. So you need to create agents that are talking to one another, right? I have some agents that I've built within the Manus AI agentic workflow, and every day at 7 a.m., I get an update of all the research in education happening. Here's what's happening right now in education. Here's what you should consider making a video about today. Like, my agents are doing research while I sleep. They're doing research to make me slide decks. They're doing research to do things. And when I review what I need to review and I get to work. That is how a lot of CEOs are working now. They have agents working for them. Do you have a way to build APIs? Do you know how to connect what you've built with another infrastructure? Do you know how to connect Claude to Manus AI? Do you know how to connect Replit to a different API? Do you know how to connect Stripe for collecting payment? We're going to talk about that as we go on in this class. And then number 3, can you configure an agent at home with your own server? That is probably the most advanced AI application for most people. Let me explain why number 3 is very important, if that's okay. And then I want to hear from everyone, where do you think you are in these tiers? One of the things that is going to happen to AI that is massive, let me go back to my screen here. One of the things that is going to happen with AI that is massive is that people are worried about their data going out. So they don't want to use AI for certain things because they don't want it to go into the LLMs that are out in the public. So here's the solution. The solution is to have your own server. Your server is where you're running your AI at home, and the data never leaves your home or never leaves your office. How crazy is that? You can use the same AI technology without the data leaving your house, without it leaving your computer. How do you do that? You build an LLM server, you build a system with an open weight model at home. This is a capstone. This is going to take time. We can't just do it today, right? It's going to take some time, but I'm willing to help. I'm willing to bring people alongside to walk you through how to build your server. Because imagine if you can use the LLMs in a private server that still gives you the same type of output you need, but you're not worried that the data is out there. For example, imagine you're a doctor and you have a patient that has a certain case that you're trying to treat. You're not going to just put your patient's name and their data on an LLM like Claude. That's not responsible, right? But what if you have your own AI agent at home that can analyze the data without it leaving, right? This is something that is going to be very important. So that is going to be a capstone. But let me pause and ask the question, where do you think you are in your journey? Are you in the ideation and making flyers phase? Are you in the synthesis? You can put in Excel documents and get data and build Excel spreadsheets. Are you in the building websites phase? Can you build a website, deploy the website, and start collecting payment today? And then are you in the agent building phase? Where would you say you are in your phase? I want to pause and hear from us, and then we'll go on and begin to wrap up as I show us some other tricks for today. So what phase do you think you are? Anyone mind to share, or you could put it in the chat? I see there's Q&A. Okay, they can see the screen. Very good. Let me put it in the chat. The stack that I use. So if anybody's wondering what is the stack that I use, I'm transitioning from Manus AI to Replit as my agentic AI. So I've put it in the chat. You guys can see a little bit of my stack. I use Google LM. It's one of the best for summarizing videos. Let me think of which other one I use often. These are the main ones that I would say I interact with regularly. Claude, Manus AI, which Manus AI and Replit, Google LM for summarizing videos. Would you like me to analyze any use case today? Let me know. Is there a use case that you want me to look at? Can you put it in the chat as well? What that way it's more relevant to you and not just a random use case. Is there any use case for AI that you're interested in? So for making PowerPoint slides, like guys, if you're not using Claude to make PowerPoint slides, I'm sorry. Like I'm not saying you only use like take what it gives you and use it the way it's written. You still need to make some edits. But please, you should have whisper flow. If you're still typing into your AI all day, that's ancient. That's already ancient. You need to be using whisper flow. Whisper flow is an app. You talk into the app, it's right on top of your AI, right? Let me actually show you guys whisper flow in action. If you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go back to Claude. Please let me know if you guys have any skill you want to learn with AI today. I'm going to pull up a Claude. Let me see. So let me pull up Claude. And then I'm going to pull up Whisper Flow. You guys will see my screen in 1 second. While it's loading, let's see. And I'll tell you why, another reason why you have to pay close attention to Claude especially. Okay, can everybody see my screen? I assume you can see my screen. Can I see a chat, yes or no, on the screen, please? Can everyone see the Claude on the screen? Okay, perfect. Here's Whisper Flow. Oh, look at that. They said you can now get 2 times usage for co-work. Okay, that's another day's story. Look at this now. I'm going to come here, okay? I'm not typing, by the way, but watch what is happening. I turned on my Whisper Flow, and I want the Whisper Flow to specifically design a plan of action for an AI education framework that can transform the world of AI education and give me some lessons I should share with the team. I've taken my hands off of the Whisper Flow. Can you guys see what just happened? I didn't type this, okay? So let me add more. I'll explain. So we want everybody in the world to understand AI, the benefits, the risks, and how to use it responsibly. We also want them to understand that it is a new AI revolution. We're aware that Claude is now building systems that eventually could lead to recursive self-improvement. Explain that to us as though we're in 7th grade. Look what happened. I did not type that. I literally used Whisper Flow. I've given it to Claude. We're going to come back and you're going to see the quality of work. I can give this same prompt to another AI model, right? And you will see that it's just not going to be the same. It's not going to be as good. So I think that using Claude is critical. Let's look at this button over here, though. You see where it says Opus 4.8? That is the latest model for Claude. This is one of the most advanced AI models in the world today, hands down. If you click on more models, look at these other models they have. See, the thing with AI is that you can use it to do different things. You don't need Opus 4.8 for everything. You can use the more basic models to do certain tasks. But if you're looking for the most advanced AI model in the world, pretty much today, you want to use Opus 4.8. And so while Claude is working, let me come back and let me see. Are there any questions while Claude? Now, notice that Claude is not answering as fast. So guess what? You might ask, what when I use Gemini, how fast will Gemini give me the answer? Well, Gemini is going to act as an LLM alone. Claude is acting as agentic AI also. It's researching, it's diving deep, it's thinking through things, right? Gemini does something similar, but it also has a version where it just gives you an answer. Like Gemini can give you an answer right away, where you don't have to wait as long, right? So let me see if this one is ready to go. Go. Okay, look at how Gemini is going to respond to this question. Okay, this is called Gemini Flash. If you're looking for a quick answer, you can use Gemini Flash, right? and it is looking at the details, it is analyzing, right? And it has the context. And now it can go ahead and give us some specifics, right? So the next phase of AI revolution, recursive self-improvement. So notice that Gemini is giving you the answer right away, right? It's not that the answer is not correct. It's just that this is acting as an LLM right now, right? But when you go back to Claude, Claude is also acting as an agent, agentic AI. It's still working, it's still digging into the research. And now it is giving you the answer, right? You can see that it is giving us the answer now, but it's giving us with a lot more research, right? So what is the question I asked? I talked about something called recursive self-improvement. Is anyone comfortable with answering that question? What is recursive self-improvement? By the way, I'm going to say create, look at this. I'm going to say Whisper Flow, create a slide deck on Claude here. Create a slide deck that I can show my team using gold, royal blue, orange, and white that shows them this information. Also create a landing page that people can provide their information if they want more information. Show all those things now. Give us a landing page, give us a slide deck, and give us a white paper that is written in the style of Andrew Ng that tells them about AI. And recursive self-improvement as well. Now, I didn't type what I just wrote. I just put my hand on the Whisper Flow and then sent it to work. You guys will see that it will create a slide deck. It'll create a website. All of this is happening right in the AI interface. There is so much more we can talk about with Claude. We have the chat section, the project section, right? We have the artifact section. We can customize. We can write code. We can now design with Claude. People might not know this, but some of the best flyers right now are coming from Claude. Claude did not used to be in the business of design, but it is now. Do you see why you need to have a continuing education for AI? Because just because an AI could not do something yesterday doesn't mean it can't do it today. But when will you know when it has learned to do the thing? That's why we need an AI continuing education strategy. Okay, let's go back to my screen while Claude is working, and I just want to take some time to answer any questions. Are there any questions about AI? Anything with AI? Or before you ask your questions, please, does anyone know what recursive self-improvement is? Is anyone comfortable sharing what is recursive self-improvement? If you want to put it in the chat, you can do that, or in the Q&A section. Or would you like me to just go ahead and answer it? Let me know. I also want to see if we want to have some interaction. Okay, let me answer the question briefly. So guys, in the past, human beings were building all the AI systems. Something happened this week that should make everybody concerned. And that's why we need more world, like Christians and people with a good, like if you have a worldview and you want to see us using AI properly, go into AI research. Help us get things right. Because this week, it has come out that there is now a potential that by 2027, 2028, recursive self-improvement could potentially happen. What does this mean? That means AI can now build AI without a human in the loop. Like, guys, let me repeat. AI can now build AI without a human in the loop. That means AI can build the better version of the next edition. Imagine you build a website and then you tell your website, I want you to be better tomorrow. Can you imagine what I just said? Imagine you build a website and you say, I want you to be better tomorrow. And your website, while you sleep, goes into its own code, rewrites the website, makes it better based on feedback, and you wake up the next day and your website is better. And you didn't do anything. Just imagine that happening. My friends, that is where the world is going. Recursive self-improvement is potentially going to happen. That means that Claude will build the next Claude. Isn't that crazy? That means that Claude will be so good at programming and design architecture. That's what they're saying. At least that's what they're claiming. It's not going to be easy, I don't necessarily think it's all a good thing, but my point is you and I need to be aware of all of this research that is happening right now. Because those who understand how these AI models work will be able to build better models. And one of my goals with my work in Africa is to actually build an AI lab that competes with some of the best AI labs in the world. That is one of my goals. I want to work with students in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Ghana, around the continent. Let us come together and let us build an AI model that can actually do a lot of heavy lifting, similar to Claude. Let us build an alternative to Google, essentially. Let us have our own version of that as well. Why not? We have people that are learning mathematics and science. How can we equip them to make sure that they're ready to lead in the AI revolution? I'm going to switch over to one more slide, and then we'll begin to wrap up. Let's see. Are there any questions, thoughts, comments, objections, please, on any of the issues that we're discussing?
Recording in progress.
I'm so sorry about that. I was just saying here that you can see that there's so many tools that we can use, right? The very first step is you need to define your goals. What do you want to accomplish? Before you use AI, you need to answer the question, what am I trying to accomplish? Number two, everybody needs to have at least the Claude and the Gemini. And I will show you an example I gave last time in a second. But what I was trying to show everybody is I'm going to scroll down and show you why AI education can be very complicated. Look at this list. This is called AI tools, the list of tools. Notice how many tools somebody could say they want to learn that have to do something with AI. Do you see that we could literally spend 40 weeks just learning how to use AI and how to build AI? This is one of the reasons why I say we need an AI continuing education strategy. Are you guys seeing why I say that? Notice that there are over 80, 90, almost 100 tools that we can talk about. That's a lot, right? So I'm not going to go over all of them, but the point I want to make is you need to have a plan to continually learn how to improve your AI skills. So let me give you a quick use case that I gave last time, and then I'll wrap up with a couple of things. Number one, imagine you have a Zoom call. You ask Zoom to record the transcript. Okay, so Zoom can do that for you. Zoom is now AI powered, right? So imagine you do that. You take the transcript and you give it to your generative AI tool. Then you ask the AI tool to summarize and provide takeaways and recommendations towards your bigger goals. You have to train your AI on what your goals are so that your AI knows how to work with the work you're doing. So if everybody on this call, please, can you open your AI, your preferred AI, and do me a favor? Can you just state a goal that you want to accomplish, right? Let's just start this project. We're going to keep working on it. Can you tell your AI what are some concrete goals you're trying to accomplish in 2026? And then ask the question, how can I use AI fluency to improve on my goals, right? You can ask the AI then to act as a consultant and tell you what you need to tackle first. This is a strategy of using what you've done on a meeting to basically provide the AI with that information, tell the AI what you're trying to do, and then go from there. Everybody needs an agentic AI model. You don't just need the LLMs anymore. You need an agentic AI model. What are the agentic AI models? Replit, Anthropic Claude now is doing that. Manus AI. I favor Claude and Replit. Those are the two. If you only had two AI tools, those should be your only two. Claude and Replit. Now, why do I keep listing Gemini? Because Gemini allows you to use the LLM feature without being limited in your use. If you're using Claude, Claude will limit you. You can't use Claude all day. It actually has limits. And that's because of something I call token economics. We'll talk about that in one of our sessions. A person who knows how to use AI can now create websites, build apps, edit PDFs, design flyers, set up shops online, start collecting money, create dashboards, project management metrics, essentially a secretary that works almost free 24/7. One person that knows how to use AI is like 40 people working on a project if you train the AI well. So things that used to take us 40 hours should only take us 40 minutes now. Certain things that used to take us 40 hours should only take 40 minutes, if at all, right? You should be able to get your agents to work for you for hours on end. That's the scope now that people are using. So let me address one of the biggest problems with AI that people talk about, and it's called AI hallucinations. Now, what you'll notice about our AI trainings is we don't just teach you how to use the AI tools, which we can and we will, but we teach you about the architecture of AI. We teach you about the what are the limitations of AI? How do you overcome the limitations? So this is one of the biggest limitations of AI hallucinations. How do you deal with that? Well, there is one way to deal with that called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. And what it does is that it allows you to provide your AI system with facts that are true, not random facts that don't make sense, but actual facts that are true. And then the AI is limited to answering based on ground truth and facts. This is something we'll have as a lecture. So please continue following our work. We're going to have a whole lecture on RAG and how to build RAG. So again, welcome to this AI course. It is mostly for the non-technical founders and executives and professionals, but we have a track for computer scientists. If you want to be a computer scientist, follow us on that track. In order to use AI well, it all starts with the mission and the vision of the project. You have to define the scope of your project. Why are you doing it? Who will it help? Who is already doing it? What makes your offer different? How do you build a personal brand around being a leader on that project? I'm going to share something with you that you probably will not hear at most AI trainings. You need to read books and train your AI agents on books on strategy. I use the blue ocean strategy, which is where we create new markets rather than stay in the competition. You need to read strategy books. You need to read books about how to learn, like Peak by Dr. Anders Ericsson. You need to read business management books like Peter Drucker. You need to read John Maxwell books like books on leadership. You need to learn about prototyping, project management, and product design. There's a reason I'm saying all of this. Because remember, if everybody can use AI, what makes you different? It is all of what I'm sharing here that makes you different. You need to learn cognitive psychology. You need to understand Zig Ziglar and some of the stuff he was teaching about motivation and inspiration. You need to read some Daniel Priestley because I think he will help a lot with how you set up your business. Myron Golden, and then, sorry, I'm being selfish. I'm not being selfish, actually, but you need to read Tools for Mastering Mathematics because if you know math, right, if you know how to use math well, you will go far. And so you need to know math in order to use AI well. So that's my advice to parents. Make sure your children know how to do mathematics well before they use AI. So next time, let's talk more about RAG. Let's talk about this question of bias in AI that people bring up. Let's talk about memory and forgetting. What happens when AI forgets, right? Our Claude demonstration is ready, by the way. I'm going to share my screen again and just show you all what we've been able to build with Claude. Let me show you the landing page that Claude built, okay? Everyone, let's look at the landing page. So here's what Claude built for us. So this is literally just built. So I told it, you guys were on the call. We told Claude to build a specific plan for us. Here's the website it just built in real time. Now, this is just a sample though. So I'm not saying the website is all done. We can still refine it, but let's go back and look. This is just a sample of what Claude built right now. Get the free toolkit. Understand the AI revolution and teach it with confidence. Guys, this was built right now as I was talking to you. The whole website that you're seeing. The benefits, the risks, responsible AI use. Tell the difference between what is and what could be. What AI does today. So you guys can see, and I'm actually going to, let me see. I'm going to share. I'm going to make this published. I'm going to share this link. Again, this is just a sample. I'm going to put it in the chat just so you guys see what it was able to build, right? And you can take the code, right? You can go and look at the code, right? Look at the code. So you can take the code from what Claude has built, right? And I can deploy it on a website right now, and it can be live. Excuse me, isn't that crazy? This website can be live right now if we want it to be live. You can collect information. You can send people the toolkit. Notice it puts our information where classical education meets STEM excellence because Claude knows about my work. It has been trained on my data. What about the PowerPoint slide deck? Let me go back, make sure that you can see the slide deck. So Claude made this slide deck while I was on the call with you. So here we go. So this is the slide deck. Claude just generated this. Again, I haven't vetted it yet, right? We just built it. But look what Claude just generated right here with you. Understanding the AI revolution, the moment we are in, the printing press, electricity, computer, artificial intelligence. The tool is only as wise as its user. Guys, this was generated just now, right? So this whole thing was generated just now. 5 lessons to teach our team. The idea is old, right? Place AI in the lineage. That means the idea of AI is old. Separate what is from what could be. The benefits and the risks right together. Speed is the real challenge, right? We need to address that. And then we need to talk about how to train the systems. Guys, all of this was just built right now with Claude. If you use Whisper Flow, you can have it update every one of these slides. You can build a whole slide deck while you talk. You don't even have to type in this anymore. You just talk into the system and it does it all for you. And then the last thing I want to share with you all is, remember I told Claude to also write a white paper as a sample. Now, I'm not saying anybody to try and take what Claude does and just use it verbatim. No, but I'm trying to show you what it can do as a resource, right? So let's go back and look at the last thing that it built for us. It's just going to take me 1 second, and then we'll wrap up, except you have any questions. Okay, so here's the last thing it built for us. Okay, so I told it to write a paper, right? A practical, helpful guide for families, teachers, and schools in the AI revolution. I can dictate what I want in the paper. And remember, Claude is now agentic. That means that it does research for a lot of what you're reading right now. Look at this, for example. Again, this is all from Claude. It's talked about personalized tutoring, of how AI can help. Time back for teachers, access for everyone, a thinking partner, right? The risks, right? Confident mistakes. That's the hallucinations I was talking about. So I already am telling you that we know that it has certain problems and we can fix those problems. The loop is asking, like, this is the loop I was talking about. Recursive self-improvement, right? So imagine someone who's good at math. She doesn't just practice. She figures out a better way to study. Now she learns faster, including how to study even better. So she finds an even better method, which helps her find a better one still. Each round, she levels up and the levels start becoming quicker. Guys, what used to take 6 months in AI labs is now taking less than 6 weeks. It is moving so fast that Anthropic Claude is asking that we pause. Claude is asking us to pause because AI is moving too fast. So, how do we go? Where do we go from here? Let us learn AI. Let us keep improving our AI skills. Let us teach teachers how to use AI. Let us help students learn how to use AI responsibly. Responsible use is the key. Okay, so notice that it wrote the paper from the perspective of Andrew Ng, which is a specific author. That is what we have for today, guys. You're living in a revolution. Things are moving fast. How will you prepare? What is your AI continuing education strategy? Don't try to learn all 100 AI tools that I'm talking about. No, start with one or two and master them. Master Claude, master Replit. If you know how to use Claude or Replit, you are 99%, like you're ahead of 99% of the world. Learn those tools well and start using them to solve practical problems. Thank you very much. I'm going to pause and take any questions, thoughts, or comments or objections. We'll take about 5 minutes for questions, and then we'll talk about the next meeting over our our WhatsApp group. If you're interested in joining the WhatsApp group, just send me a message on WhatsApp, and we'll connect you with the team. So I've put it in the chat as well. If you're interested in joining the WhatsApp group where we have continuing education. Any questions, thoughts, comments, objections before we close for the day? If you'd like me to add you to the panel or to speak, we can do that. I'll stop recording now.